Hi, I'm Dave Gamble, Farmers Insurance District Manager in the South Bay of Los Angeles. I'm super excited to be talking to you today as I will be interviewing Farmers Insurance Personal Lines Agency of the Year for 2019, Dan Kitajima. This is an incredible recognition and one well deserved by Dan and his entire team. Let me share a few points about Dan's agency. Dan's been in business for about 13 years with Farmers Insurance and now has staff of 11. Dan has 9,000 PIF in force with a policy or household density of 1.93. This is an incredible number for such a large insurance agency. Dan is going to be sharing with us how to become a lead factory and how to win with internet leads. Let me share with you a couple of the critical points that Dan has shared with me in our conversation. The first thing is, Dan let me know to be successful with internet leads, you've got to have a high level of automation. And he's going to explain a little bit about what that means. The next piece was, you need to set the stage for the customer to want to call you. And he shared with me that the use of social media and branding your agency is incredibly important to do that so that you're not just a telephone number, you're not just an email in somebody's inbox. You've given the prospect an opportunity to find out a bit about who you are. The next piece was you have to work enough leads to get the conversion ratios that you want to see. Very important. And then lastly, Dan shared with me that if the agent can't work the internet leads and really be successful with it, they're probably not going to be able to train the staff to do it. Dan will share with us about an average of a 2-year process for bringing new people into his business and how they start working internet leads. So I'm really excited to share this interview with you. And with that, let's talk to Dan.
We are farmers. Bum ba bum 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 bum.
So Dan, welcome.
Hey Dave, thanks for having me.
Awesome. I'm so glad to see you again. And so Dan, can you start out with just helping us a little bit about your background and how you got into this business with Farmers Insurance?
Yeah, sure. First of all, Dave, thanks again for having me. I think it's awesome. I could tell from your enthusiasm of scheduling this that you really want to help out the agents, not only for your district, for the whole state too. So I could feel your passion and your effort for trying to help out other agents is something I could really relate to. So appreciate you setting this up. So yeah, my background story is I graduated college and then I wanted a sales job. So I just happened to end up at AAA right out of college. I worked there for 3 years and it was a call center environment, so they got me licensed and they trained me. And it was a very call center environment where calls were coming in and they taught us how to close deals over the phone. And that's really what I did. And it was a good fast paced environment. And I did pretty well for the first 3 years. And after 3 years, my parents are entrepreneurs and I wanted to do my own thing. I felt like I gained the knowledge and I felt like I was ready. So I looked around for opportunities and Farmers Insurance sounded like the best one for me. I started my insurance agency August of 2007. The very first day I went into the office, Darla's office, who I really want to give a lot of credit to my success. Rest in peace to Darla. She was such an influence to my start to my career. But yeah, first day I went into her office. It was pretty packed, so I took the conference room. I borrowed it. I was kind of in and out of that room as they had meetings. Yeah, I wanted to get to selling right away. So I sold my own policy. That was the easy one. And then I sold my parents' policy, 3 cars and a home and a rental property. And then I went home that day and I felt really good about myself. I was like, well, that's a great day, And then the second day I came into the office, there was nothing much going on. So I'm kind of an action fiend and I'm still am. I like to stay busy and I just want things to be happening in the office. I want to be talking to people. I want to be with other producers or working, competing with other agents. I just was so used to that fast-paced environment that it felt very slow to me. So 2007, there wasn't any iPhones or there wasn't any, it was a different world back then, but there was Google. So I went on Google and I typed in how to get insurance leads. And all these companies came out and, I was just desperate for action. And the funny story that back then, Dave, is that while I was transitioning from AAA to Farmers, there was a little bit of poker boom going on at that time, 2007. So I was playing some high stakes poker, going to casinos and things like that. I love poker, but I don't play anymore, but I wasn't really good at it. But it taught me that, you had to spend the money, you had to risk the money. And, I was kind of used to losing money. So I went on there and I said, hey, what's a couple $1,000? Let's put it into these companies and see what happens. From that day on, I started buying leads, and at least it got me busy. I was talking to people, I was getting rejected, but I felt like, I was doing something, and that's really where it all started.
I'm so glad you brought up Darla. She was a great district manager. And, I don't think everybody really understands the role of a district manager. I've known Darla, for a long time before she passed away. And I agree. Rest in peace, Darla. Could you share with me a couple of the things we discussed earlier about the ways Darla supported you? I think it's so critical in the start of a new agent's career on how to get off on the right foot.
Yeah, sure. I think the role she really played was just someone there to keep the morale positive. We as agency owners, we just, every day is not an easy day. There's just going to be challenges. There's going to be, especially if you're in sales, you're just getting a lot of rejection, especially if you're working with internet leads. She just had a great way of just having using humor as a way to just lift up our spirits, even when things didn't seem well. I'm learning a new system. It was just, as every agency owner, the first few days, first few months, first few years really is not easy. And during that time, she just had a smile. She was happy to be at work. She was happy to just have somebody to talk to, brainstorm with, and just the positivity, because I think internet leads back then, it wasn't something that was looked at as like, hey, it wasn't really something that was like recommended, or actually, I think a lot of people saw it as a fad. She wasn't cynical at all. She was like, hey, yeah, go for it. It probably will work. I'm not sure if she believe that or not, but the positivity and using humor to get over the difficult days was great. And I feel like that instilled in me early on. And I could get a little tough on myself sometimes. And sometimes when I do get a little tough, I still have a picture of her on my desk. I kind of look at her smile and say, hey, keep it positive, keep smiling, find the humor in little things. Sometimes find the humor in the struggle has really helped me out during those early days.
I think that's great, Dan. Thanks for sharing that because, especially as a new agent, the DM does play a critical role in helping to keep the positive energy flowing. And now you have my friend Jim McGiver, a tremendous district manager. Tell us a little bit about how that interaction works today with Jim.
Yeah, with Jim, the situation is a little bit more different now, a little bit more low maintenance. I kind of do have my own office, obviously, and I'm working in my staff and I stay busy. I think the great thing about Jim is, I could get the sense with you too, Dave, that you guys are, legends and farmers and been in the business for such a long time, but just the humility to be able to say that, hey, Dan, I work for you. And I think that was the first meeting I had with him, is just set the tone. I was like, okay, I feel so comfortable, because I worked in corporate America at AAA, and part of the reason that it didn't really work out, besides, not, it wasn't that my business, obviously, is that the management was the ones that were higher and the agents were looked at as nothing. They were like, you have to do that. And I think with the farmers culture, which I loved and I really appreciate, is that the DMs are, same thing with Darla. They don't treat me as an employee of theirs. They respect me as a business owner, and the attitude is more like, "What can I do to help you? If you need anything, let me know." And I think that is just all I could really ask for, is to have somebody that if I have a situation, I could talk to, and they're not really like, "You have to do this for me. Here's your quota." It's more of helping each other out. They need life policies, they'll let me know if I need something, if I have questions, if I have ideas to bounce off of, he's there. And just that relationship of both being business owners and understanding each other is something that I really appreciate.
I think you said it perfectly. I consider our agents business partners. And if it was anything else, I don't think I'd be excited about it. And I don't think the agents would be excited about. Now, Dan, if I heard you right, I think you just said I have a lot of gray hair when you say, you're one of the legends of farmers. I mean, yeah, I've been around for a while. That's absolutely right. And I think my hair shows it. I've met a lot of really great agents in my time. I've been fortunate enough to make 5 president's councils during my time as a DM thus far. I've been to a lot of championships and a lot of toppers clubs. And I've met a lot of the great agents in this company, and I've recognized this. Many of them have this very high intensity level. What are some of the attributes that you feel make you really successful in this business?
Well, thanks for saying that, Dave. One of the things I would say that I consider myself is, I'm a pretty consistent person. I like to really wonder what's going to be next at my agency. And I like to stay humble too. And I think that's something that I've seen from other farmers agents that I came across that are great is that, I just don't feel like I've really accomplished anything. This business has such great potential. And I know from past experience to be able to get to the next step is just to be consistent and not really ever get too full of myself because I just understand the big scheme of things. There's just so much more that could be accomplished.
Dan, I think that's sage advice, and some of those key elements of being humble. I think to be a good business leader, we can't, get out of our skis and think we're the greatest thing on the earth because there's always somebody better. And I like your attitude about, the curiosity in getting to the next level and the desire to work hard. So with that, thank you very much again, Dan, and have a great rest of your day and have a great 2020 in the midst of this pandemic. I'm sure you're making the most out of it. Until next time.
We are farmers. Bum, ba, dum, bum, 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 bum.